Right now on KGW News, the first big snow of the season shuts down travel in parts of the gorge. A look at the wintry weather still to come. Plus,
we were terrified.
A heart-stopping moment for a father as a thief takes off in his car with his daughter inside. And Portland schools come up with a plan to make up for lost class time, but it's not going over so well.
As it stands, I think that half the kids aren't even going to show up. I mean,
Then later, all eyes on the big game as the Ducks and Huskies get ready in Vegas for the final Pac-12 championship ever. Good evening, everyone. We begin tonight with what in many areas is the first significant snowfall of the season. We have got reports of snow covering the ground in many higher elevations of Clark County, in parts of the gorge, and of course, in the mountains. Our thanks to all of you sending in photos and video of what's happening in your area. Spinouts even had State Route 14 on the Washington side of the gorge shut down for 25 miles for several hours tonight. It is now back open. So let's get things started with Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino for the official snow and rain totals and a look at what is still to come here, Matt.
Yeah, David, most of the low elevation snow is about an inch, a very wet inch of snow. Temperatures just above freezing or right around freezing. But hey, we found Santa and a sleigh and some reindeer out there in the Dalles. This is from the camera we have out there on the Veterans Home. 32 degrees there. And again, you can see kind of a wet, sloppy inch of snow. Here's the sidewalk, and that is bare there. But up in the mountains, it's a different story. It's been snowing hard. This is the scene from the ODOT camera up at Highway 35 and the Mount Hood Meadows Drive, looking up the drive that way. And the snow is lightened up, but it is looking like there's been several inches. So to verify that, of course, we'll go to Timberline in just a second. But some of the other passes, Government Camp, snow covered. Down at Santiam Pass, still snowing really strongly. Same thing at Willamette Pass, temperatures there in the mid-20s. And then finally for you up at Timberline, looking a lot better than it did a couple of days ago if you like snow. It's 22 degrees, and there's been 6 inches of new snow at 6,000 feet at the beautiful and historic Timberline Lodge in the Mount Hood National Forest, right? Okay, about 1/4 inch of rain in Portland. That's gotten us close to our average for the month of November, which of course ends in about an hour from now. But the amounts have really been stable for the last several hours. We haven't had a lot of rain in the last few hours. That's about to change, though. Look at the temperatures, though. We're stuck in the 30s, 34 in Boring, 39 Troutdale, 38 Westland, 38 in Portland. So we're above freezing in most areas, but we've got these pockets like Hood River, 32. There's been a rain-snow mix in some of the valleys up in Clark County where we've seen some sticking snow on the ground. That's all going to melt away during the day tomorrow. The other thing that's happening with these cool temperatures and the recent rainfall, we've got fog out there, and it's thick in some places like Hillsborough, visibility down to half a mile. Visibility just picked up a little bit at Scappoose, down to a mile in Aurora, McMinnville, 1/4 mile visibility. So that's that combination of the cold air still trapped in the valleys. We've added the moisture with the rainfall. Now we had that break, but now look at the coast right now. Here's the next batch of rain coming on shore with our next storm system. So the rain's still scheduled to pick up late tonight, tomorrow morning, and it will be heavy. We have a winter storm warning in the Cascades. We're talking feet of snow through Saturday into Saturday night. The mountain passes will just be treacherous. Don't drive through the mountain passes if you do not have to. Make sure you're ready for winter travel if you do. The snow will turn to rain even up the passes, though, and above as we go to Saturday night and Sunday. And then we have to concern ourselves with flooding, both river flooding, but especially urban intersection flooding, clogged storm drains, all of that, because there's going to be a lot of water, inches of rain. We'll show you how much in a bit, David.
Wow, feels like one thing after another, and we are just getting started. Yeah, thanks, Matt. From winter weather to winter break, Portland Public Schools tonight confirmed they are cutting students' holiday break in half to help make up for the days they missed because of the strike. That means students will now get 1 week off instead of 2. Catherine Cook is in the newsroom. Catherine, what other options were on the table here?
Well, David, they considered several options. One was sending kids to school on Martin Luther King Jr. Day so they could put one more day back into winter break. But at this point, the district is sticking to the plan they agreed to with the teachers union. For many families, that's not their first choice.
It's the first week back to school for PPS kids since the nearly month-long teacher strike. Students missed 11 days in the classroom. On Thursday, the district confirmed they'll recoup 5 of those days by cutting students' winter break in half.
now the kids won't be home until the 23rd, so we have barely any time before the holiday.
At Ida B. Wells High School, many parents like Joy Franz were frustrated.
We have family flying in from the Midwest the weekend before, so we're missing several days of what could have been fun day-to-day excursions. We were hoping to go to the beach. We're probably not going to do that anymore.
Others expressed resignation.
We would have to make it up somewhere, so better winter break than summer vacation.
Still others were sorting through new information, Chance Darning among them.
I saw something this morning that they're gonna give one day back and take away Martin Luther King Day or something like that. And it just seems like that they didn't really think that through.
That last idea was on the table, one of several brought forth by students.
These are the options PPS students would prefer instead of our winter break being cut.
McDaniel Jr. Jorge Sanchez Bautista organized a student survey asking about winter break. He told the school board Tuesday night about 5,000 students responded with their ideas, including adding a week of school in June or lengthening school days.
Taking away our winter break isn't an option. Folks have plans, have to decide whether to stay or go. Having school during a time when the majority of everyone is busy is just a waste of classroom time. Others have to work, such as myself, because we need income.
District officials explained adding more days in June would only extend spring semester classes, not recoup lost time from fall semester. Which brings us back to winter break. December 18th through the 22nd, there's school days now on the calendar.
As it stands, I think that half the kids aren't even going to show up.
After winter break, the district will still need to recoup 6 more strike days during the school year. They've scheduled them for January 26th, February 19th, which is President's Day, April 8th, and June 12th, 13th, and 14th. Those last 3 would have been makeup days for snow. David?
Yeah, which makes you wonder what's going to happen if it does snow. It's only November 30th, right? Thank you, Catherine. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines. Beginning in the Middle East, where a week-long ceasefire between Israel and Hamas has come to an end. The Israeli military says fighter jets have resumed strikes against Hamas targets in Gaza. It's also accused Hamas of violating the final minutes of the pause. Now, during the truce, Hamas and other militant groups in Gaza released more than 100 hostages, most of them Israelis, in return for 240 Palestinians freed from prisons in Israel. A grand jury has cleared 3 Portland officers of criminal wrongdoing for a deadly police shooting. The jury ruled they were justified in killing Pontiac's Cowles back in July. He was on the run after a shooting and killing a security guard at Legacy Good Samaritan Hospital. Cowles was in the hospital after his partner gave birth to their 3rd child. He is accused of threatening hospital staff before shooting that guard. And we are learning more about how a man accused of kidnapping a woman in Seattle and locking her in a cinder block cell allegedly tried to break out of jail. New photos from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office show the makeshift tool investigators say Nagazi Zuberi tried to escape in August. It looks like an orange plastic sandal with a screw attached. Investigators say Zuberi used it to chip away at his jail cell window. He remains in jail on both state and federal charges and is expected in court on Monday. To an update this evening on a car that was stolen this morning with a toddler inside. Tonight, police say they found the vehicle in Gresham, and as we reported earlier, a neighbor found the 2-year-old safe a few blocks away from home. Kyla Boshi with that story.
I was parked pretty close up.
Will Stevens admits it all happened in a matter of seconds. Someone stole his car that was warming up in the driveway. As the suspect pulled away, Stevens opened the car door and yelled, "There's a kid inside." His 2-year-old daughter was in the back seat.
We were terrified. I mean, I was hopeful that they were just trying to boost the car, and that they would recognize that it's a much different situation.
A frantic Stevens and his wife called the police. Nearby, a neighbor spotted a car driving recklessly near Northeast San Rafael and 113th. Moments later, that same neighbor noticed the little girl.
And I see this little figure. First I was like, is that a loose dog? But the way it was just coming straight, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a child.
She pulled over to help.
I was like, I didn't know what happened. She had no shoes on. Her feet were red, so I was kind of holding her feet a little bit.
Stevens reunited with his daughter.
She had a really scared look on her face. She was shaking, but I think that was more of a result of she was out walking without socks.
Police put out this image of the stolen vehicle. A 2017 dark blue Subaru Outback with license plate 639 JVQ, and investigators canvassed the Northeast Portland neighborhood. The incident reflects Portland's ongoing issue with stolen vehicles. Although there's been a decline compared to last year, so far in 2023, Portland police data shows there have been almost 7,000 stolen vehicles citywide.
Thank goodness for that neighbor. That was Kyla Boshi reporting. Police still have not found the thief who stole the car. The most important thing, Will Stevens says, his daughter is okay. New tonight, a Portland shelter that served hundreds of homeless men and women is reopening with several upgrades. The Willamette Center first opened in 2016 on Milwaukee Avenue in Southeast Portland. It closed last year in need of repairs, including HVAC upgrades and seismic upgrades. After a $2.5 million renovation, it'll open back up with 120 beds for adults, including couples. Transition projects will run that shelter and work to get people into a home of their own.
There's no hard cap in terms of length of stay. No one will be kicked out after a certain period of time, but their goal is to continue to move people along in their journey and really make it an efficient process moving on to permanent housing.
Right now, there's a waiting list to get in. They are expected to be fully open by the end of the year. Tonight, Portland's mayor is pushing to get more workers back downtown. Ted Wheeler is now asking employers to require staff to spend at least half their time back in the office. The mayor already brought back City and Portland employees in the spring. That means 7,000 are working in person at least 20 hours a week. Today, he called on private employers to do the same in hopes of boosting foot traffic and business in the central city. The mayor believes that will also make the streets safer.
And we also know from a public safety perspective, if you have more activation, more people walking about, more eyes on the streets, that also improves the public safety situation for everybody. I get asked all the time, well, what can we do to help? This is a big way that if people so choose, they could help the city of Portland. Help us reactivate it. Bring your folks down at least a couple of days a week and encourage them to shop locally.
All right, the mayor says keeping the streets safe is one of his top priorities. Portland Police and State Police will continue to patrol downtown together through the next few months. All new at 11, the Sauvie Island Bridge now has a new name to honor the Native American tribes that first called that area home. It'll now be known as the Wapato Bridge. The Multnomah County Board of Commissioners made its official name today. The name comes from the Wapato tuber, a plant found on Sauvie Island, which was part of the diet for tribes in the area. Historians say the Multnomah tribe were the first people to live on the island named after French-Canadian Laurent Sauvie, who owned a dairy in that area.